Thank you. Before I read, I just wanted to briefly thank Diana for reading my fairy tales twice and giving me so many notes, Rachel for trying to make us all into poets, Ting for always questioning me, my uses of words, and also being incredibly sweet, Megan for your wit and stories, without which the Rat King might not have a carol at all, and to my AWP wife, Jessica, for always making me laugh. I'd also like to thank my mentor, Alex, for coming along with me during this journey and hashing it all out with me and dealing with my general rebellion. I'd also like to thank all of the members of the English department, especially Jackie and Judy, for always urging me to be true to myself and my writing voice. Finally, thank you to my loved ones who are here tonight, the writing angel on my shoulder, Danielle, and her wonderful Nick, my lovely and supportive friend, Katie, and two special people who have dealt with all my thesis woes and temper tantrums over the last 3 months, the love of my life, Peter, and my beautiful mother. So my thesis is called The Rat King and Other Tales, a collection of contemporary fairy tales, and I will read you part 1 of The Rat King. The Rat King, part 1, The Recompense of Dating a Rat. "You don't look like your profile picture," said the rat. Sitting atop his matted head in a crooked little fashion was a jagged tin cup. The girl sat across him wearing a bright pink top and jeans. He noticed that she had nice eyes, a deep brown that reminded him of comfortable dark spaces he liked to hide in at home. She didn't have long blonde hair, though. Instead, it was short, wavy, and a brown that was almost black. "Yeah, I cut it and let my real color grow in," Carol said. "Are you disappointed?" He thought about it and decided no, he wasn't. She was pretty, and he didn't like bottle blondes anyway. "I was just observing," he said. "It's nice, really." He hoped he wasn't sweating. She had picked the restaurant, a sushi place with sticky soy sauce bottles and plastic cherry blossoms in bell jars. "So, on your bio, you said you were a king?" "Yes," he said, and stuck his nose proudly in the air. "I am the Rat King." "So, is that like your crown or something?" she asked and pointed to the cup. "It is, yes," he said. "It's a tin cup." "It is a crown?" he said. "Actually, my mother made it for me." He snuffled his whiskery nose and looked around for the waitress. He could use a drink. "So, where is your kingdom exactly?" "In an apartment on 54th Street, he said. "I see. But it only begins there. I have part of the subway and also the sewers, but I don't visit much. I prefer sunlight." She looked bored. He was blowing this. He raised his paw and beckoned for the waitress. She was a large white woman with blue eyeshadow. The fact that she was white made him wonder if this place was authentic. "Can I get you a drink?" the waitress asked. "I'll have a Coke," Carol said. "I'll have the same, but add some Bacardi," he said, and winced. He should have stuck with just straight-up Coke. He could tell because her lips twitched just so as to indicate disappointment, he was sure. "Can I see some ID, please?" the waitress asked. Sure, hold on," he said, and scrambled until he found it. It was an embarrassing photo. His teeth looked too long and too yellow. "I never get asked. This is so nice. It makes me feel young again." "All right, I'll bring your drinks over in a sec," she said, and walked away. "So," the Rat King said. "So. What do you like to do?" he asked. "Oh, well, I'm going back to school right now, night classes. I want to try being an accountant. Boring, I know, but it's steady money, and I'm really good with numbers. Other than that, I don't do much right now. I really like to watch black and white movies." "I love black and white movies," he said. "Aren't rats colorblind?" "No, we can see green and blue, but everything else, well," he said and shrugged. She laughed. Score. "So what color are my eyes?" she asked. Brown? Like a very nice brown, like Audrey Hepburn brown." They both laughed. The waitress came by and placed their drinks with a straw in his so he could reach. He had to stand on the table to reach the tip of the straw. He hoped she didn't mind. The waitress took their order. Carol ordered 4 rolls, a volcano roll, a Snow White roll, an Alaska roll, and a sweetheart roll. Did that mean something? "That's a lot of sushi," he said. He ordered an eel avocado roll and a green dragon, which was basically the same thing, but with avocado on top of the eel. I have a big stomach, she said. So I guess you like eel, huh? He liked her. So how come online dating, he asked. She made a face. He chewed the inside of his cheek and stuttered to salvage it. I mean because, well, look at you. What do you mean, she asked. Well, you're pretty in shape and normal for starters. She laughed again. Maybe this was going well. He wasn't sure. He looked at his straw and drew the rum into his mouth. Thanks, she said. Well, I guess I just don't know where to meet people, you know? I mean, I go to school, but everyone there is either stupid or too young. And I don't like bars. It's not like I don't drink, I do sometimes, but is that really where you want to meet someone? No, he agreed. He had tried it and liked the darkness of the bars, but not the women. They laughed too loudly, a desperate sound that often kept him up at night as he lay alone in bed. And, well, I'm usually very shy, she said. I didn't get that from you. She smiled. What about you? Why online dating? Well, look at me for one. My teeth are a little too long because I don't chew as much as I should. I've got a bit of a tummy. And besides that, it's not easy being a rat king, let me tell you. I'm always busy, making sure my subjects don't eat poison or play on the tracks in the subway. It's like being a kindergarten teacher sometimes. Sounds rough, Carol said. Yeah, but somebody's got to do it. Their food came, and she ate more than he did. She even took a few pieces of his eel. They laughed awkwardly, but still, they laughed. She told him she had a brother and divorced parents. She played the cello. He was pretty sure she meant it when she said, maybe I'll play for you sometime. He told her about his 47 siblings and how he'd never met his dad. He paid, of course, though she offered. He said, I'll walk you home, and she let him. She lived pretty close by the restaurant, so the walk was shorter than he liked. He realized he didn't want to let her go, and that made him feel both like floating and sinking at the same time. She was pretty and cool, but he wasn't sure she liked him. They came to her door. She lived in a brick building with a wrought iron railing framing her stoop. He stood by her ankle, holding his tail and wringing it in between his soft pink paws. His mother called it an ugly, fidgety habit. This was nice, he said lamely. Yeah, it was. She fidgeted her feet, kicking her toes on the pavement and looked down at him. Did you know the Chinese consider rats to be very lucky? I mean, we begin the zodiac, you know. What the hell was he saying? I didn't know that, she said and smiled. She wrinkled her nose when she smiled. And in India, they have temples where they let rats run wild. Cool. Yeah. So maybe we could do this again, she asked. You know, if you want. Do you want to, or are you just saying it to be nice? Of course I want to, she said. Okay, then, that would be good. She gave him her number, scrawled in red pen on a torn piece of paper and stuck it between the slits of his tin crown. Call me, she said, and bent down very low, kissing him on the nose. Her lips were soft, plush, and left him feeling warm. She pulled back and watched him for a second, then 2, then 3. She kept watching. What? He asked. Her face flushed. Nothing. I just thought, what, that I'd turn into a prince? Well, maybe. You never know. Well, now you know. Good night, Carol, he said, and turned around without watching her go inside her building. He couldn't believe it. He'd had the perfect date. He'd even got her number, and then that. What a disaster. He sighed and walked down the street towards the subway. He passed an ill-lit bar, and from inside came a wild, witchy laugh that made him pause. He peeked in and saw a woman, thin like a splinter with garish lipstick and heavy shadows under her eyes, laughing. She was a witch. He could tell by her nicotine fingers and sallow cheekbones. She caught him watching her from the street and smiled. Her lips were glossy and red like overripe apples. She beckoned him with one bony finger. He hesitated on the sidewalk, looking back at Carol's apartment building, to the darkened corner window he imagined to be hers. He wasn't really ready to go home yet, so he went in. The bar smelled like stale cigarettes and sulfur, but he thought maybe it was just his strong nose. The bar was mostly empty, only a few thin women in short skirts pawing at some drunk men. The music was gritty and too low to hear properly. The Rat King hesitated and turned to exit, but the woman from the street approached him. "Hey," she said. "Hi," he said and twitched his nose. "I love a rat with whiskers," she said, and rolled one of his whiskers between her index and thumb. The touch sent him on edge. He thought, that must mean she likes a lot of rats, but didn't say so out loud. He got another rum and coke while the witch ordered a gimlet. It didn't look appetizing, but she seemed to enjoy it. She kept shredding this bar napkin into smaller, jagged pieces. "So," the Rat King said. "So what?" the witch asked and cackled. She had pin-straight hair with heavy bangs. Around her eyes, she wore too thick eyeliner that made her look like a lost Cleopatra. She said her name was Kate with a C. "So, Kate with a C, what do you do?" he asked. "I'm a witch, silly. I ruin things. What do you do?" "I'm the Rat King." "Very impressive," she said. She seemed to be serious. "Did you know rats are prized for their intelligence?" she said. "Well, yes, I did," he said and then laughed, "but that makes me sound egotistic." "Not at all. I love a rat who knows his worth. Did you know a group of rats is called a mischief?" "No, I didn't actually. That's pretty cool. What else do you know about rats?" "They have belly buttons," she said, and poked her long fingernail against his tummy. The touch made him chatter his teeth. "Do you want to get a table? Maybe talk a little?" I don't know," he said. "You married?" "No." "Girlfriend?" "Not really." "Girl?" "Maybe. I don't really know. I think I blew it." "Come on, you look like you need to talk." "Follow me," she said. She slipped away from the bar and led him to a table in the corner. He hopped up onto the chair and then the tabletop. He leaned against his glass and sighed. "Come on," she said. So he told her about his date. "I mean, what girl really eats on a date? I mean, eats. She even had some of mine, and I know sushi is like not that filling, but still, it was a lot," he said. "That's pretty cool." "Was she fat?" Kate asked. "No," he said and frowned. "Sorry, just wondering." "So what's the problem then if she's so cool? Why don't you just ask her out again?" "Well, yeah, I mean, isn't it obvious? She doesn't want to date a rat, king or not. She wants some charming prince," he said and sighed. He started wringing his tail, feeling the raised ridges brushing against the soft rise of his paw pads, a comforting ritual. "Well, then she's stupid. Princes are all gelled hair and queer songs." "Yeah, but isn't like that their dream? I mean, princesses, you know." "Is she a princess, I mean?" Kate with the C asked. "Well, no, but you know what I mean." "Not really. I mean, is that all we can be? Princesses or witches? That's pretty limiting," Kate said, and waved at the bartender for another round. "I didn't mean, I know, I'm just saying, maybe this Carol is just another girl, you know? So she blew the end of the date, so what? If you like her, call her." "You think?" "I know, honey. I date like I shop. If you can't stop thinking about it in 3 days, then you have to have it, you know? I just hope she gave you her real number." "What do you mean?" "Exactly what I said. Who knows? She could have done the old switcheroo and just gave you the number to a pizza joint." "I don't think Carol's that kind of person." "Hey, sorry, don't get all upset. You're right, she probably did. I just know that when I'm on a date with someone I don't really like, I always give them a fake number so they don't feel so bad, being rejected to their face and all." "That's so much worse," he said. He pulled out her phone number from his crown and looked at it closely. Suddenly, it didn't seem like a real number. "Ooh, she's good," said the witch. "What do you mean?" "She didn't put an area code or anything. Makes it seem local. Legit. Smart. I have to use that magic trick." The Rat King put the number back in his crown. Suddenly, he didn't want the witch to look at it anymore. "Why are you doing this?" he asked. "Doing what?" "You know, making me feel like this." "I don't know what you mean," she said. Her voice was cool and deep, like ocean water lapping over toes. It made him want to believe her, but something was nagging at him. Maybe it was the pungent smoke on her breath or the slap of her smile. "Why are you making me second guess a really good date?" "I'm just trying to help you. Besides, you're doing that on your own. What great date anyway? You mean the one where she kissed you and wanted you to be a handsome prince instead? Who is this girl anyway? She'll never love you. They never do, really. Trust me, I'm one of them." "I'm out of here," the rat said. The night air startled him, but it was so fresh that it stung his nostrils after being in the smoke-filled bar. Kate ran after him, her heels clattering on the sidewalk. Listen, wait up, she said, trying to catch up with him. Why should I? Please, I'm sorry, really. I had a good time talking with you. I felt like close to you or something. It was nice. I guess it just pissed me off that she hurt your feelings, okay? She said and lit up. She had a long black cigarette pressed between her ruby lips. I liked talking to you too, he said. You did? She asked. In her voice was this strain, that dip and gutter of desperation. He didn't really mind it in her, though. She seemed painfully thin in the dark, so pale, lunar. I did, he said. Listen, would it be weird if I gave you my number? Well, I guess not. Do you have paper? She asked and started clawing through her purse. I only have a pen. Yeah, he said and held out the paper with Carol's number on it. It felt wrong somehow, but she snatched it up before he could really think about it. She scrawled her number in a purple pen. 2 numbers in one night, what a stud, she said. He laughed, some stud. Thanks, he said and tucked the paper back under his crown. Well, I hope you call me. If not, it was a real pleasure. Good luck, she said. She walked back into the bar, looking over her shoulder at him. When she slipped from sight, he walked back towards Carol's building. He pulled out his cell phone and the number from his crown. He dialed, and on the 3rd ring, she actually answered. Hello? Hi, it's me, he said. I just wanted to make sure this was like your real number. Well, I guess now you know. Okay, well, I deserve that, he said. Yeah. I just didn't know, okay?